Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff and Tam Cowan here with us, or maybe Demis Roussos. It's a great outfit, Tam. Tell us exactly what the inspiration is behind it.
Well, it was actually my wee sister that bought it for me. We've got a mutual love. I think Roughie likes this programme as well, The Golden Girls, which they are currently re-showing a double bill every kind of lunchtime on Channel 5. And some of the outfits they wear, particularly when they're out, Peter, on the lanai, as they call it. I believe that's a Florida word for meaning like out the back patio. So it's not really meant to be like Demis Roussos, but it's a cracker. And if anybody out there in PLZ land on the football show wants to see my dance in the caftan at the real Tam Cowan on Instagram, you can enjoy that there. And Peter, the new album, I'm not asking you to allow me to sing a song today, but I've started working the new album. So I've got 2 songs under my belt as well. You can check them out today.
Yeah, I did actually watch one today, Tam. What are the 2 songs that you've got nailed?
The 2 songs, the first one was actually part of a competition. Iron Brew launched a competition where a punter can take part in their new advert. You had to kind of send in a wee tribute to Iron Brew. So I did a whole song that was based on the Harry Connick Jr. best-selling smash, It Had to Be You, called It Had to Be Brew, and you can check that out on the Instagram as well. And then the one that I put up today, Peter, was We're Not Going on a Summer Holiday.
Yes.
Because I think it's going to be a while yet before any of us are on a plane. So that's why I'm trying to wear gear like this and keep my shades on. Keep the mood upbeat. Would any of you like to buy a Rolex or sunglasses? Genuine Rolex.
Yeah, it comes with socks. Fantastic. Anyway, Tam's looking the business. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined us. Michael McClay, Kathleen Madden, hi to you. Niall Kane, Charlie Richardson's in Wellingborough, Chris Macklin, Lee Shanley, Stevie McCormick joins us, and that's good because Stevie McCormick, who played for Queen's Park, Stirling Albion and Dundee, is our special guest. I caught up with Stevie and looked back at his career. He's on the Facebook, and every now and then, Roughie, he's just mad. It's as simple as that. He's as mad as a hatter.
Yeah, he's actually been on right for the start. I think he's one of the first people we spoke to when we come on. You notice the name right away, and he's been very, very vocal as well as what we've been wearing and watching, what kind of gear we've got on. So it'll be interesting to see what he's got on today.
Yeah, absolutely. And hi to Gary Adam, who's in Columbus, Ohio, which is scorching at the moment. It's not a bad day here in Scotland, to be perfectly honest with you. We've got lots to talk about. We will hopefully get a little clip of what's happening at the Rangers press conference. It started at 3:30, so we might get Gary McAllister in there. We'll hear from Pep Guardiola. We will also discuss all the burning issues, including, of course, I've got to look at what's happening with that court case, Roughie, because it's day 2, and I'm sure there will be some resolution by the time we get to maybe 5 o'clock. Is that fair?
No, I think it's tomorrow, Peter. I think
stretching to a third day.
Yeah, I think he'll announce tomorrow, but I think today both people are putting their cases forward, and then he'll go away, and then tomorrow I think he's going to make some kind of judgment. Who knows what that judgment will be? It might be an arbitration. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, hey, they're ripping the back end out of this one, Tam, because if the resolution at the end of it is that we have to go to arbitration with the SFA, it drags on again.
Yeah, I wonder if it will be the old classic, whatever the Scottish equivalent is, what you see in the American movies, and the wee kind of out-of-court settlement kind of thing, which is very commonplace in America before anything ever gets to court. And they might get a reduced compensation package. I would still, as I said to you a couple of weeks ago, Peter, I would happily stand up in court for Hearts and Partick Thistle and indeed any other club that's been clobbered due to a global pandemic. I still think it is utterly ridiculous. But the wee kind of teaser that I chucked in the radio last Saturday, Peter, that quite a few folk ran with, the minute Hearts went to approach Robbie Neilson to take the job at Tynecastle. I just quietly wondered in a wee quiet moment to myself, if somebody at Hearts had word from on high that no matter how this pans out, Hearts will still be a top flight club next season. And that person at Hearts who approached Robbie Neilson told them exactly what they had been told. And Robbie is maybe under the impression now that he is going to a top flight Heart of Midlothian. It was just a bit of idle gossip, fanciful stuff for myself, but watch this space, as they say.
Oh, interesting, because I have to say, Tam, I am totally discounting the possibility of them being brought back into the Premiership. So that really would be a revelation. I wait and wonder because, as ever, on this show, for the benefit of some of our younger viewers, I never ever discount anything that could be a throwaway line. Hence the reason one of my one of my friends in the journalistic world get into a taxi and the taxi driver said Mo Johnson's signing for Rangers, to which he laughed heartily, and then a week later wasn't laughing at all, because that's exactly what happened. You just never know these days. Eamon Barry says, Peter, could I have a hello for my son Ronan and wife Philomena? Yes, you can. Thank you for supporting us. We really do enjoy everyone from all across the globe following us, and especially at home as well, because Monday to Friday we are covering Scottish football and giving you all the latest interviews and keeping you up to date with the news as well. So that Hearts and Thistle situation, we will keep a close eye on that. If there's any major line coming out of the QC's chat today, hello, day 2 of QC's, Roughie, that's another few quid in the bank for them. There's nothing like paying a QC to go to court. It's always tasty money. So that'll cost the SPFL some money as well. What about Dundee United? Steve McLaren's out of the running now, Roughie. Suddenly I think we've got Tommy Wright still in the frame, Malky Mackay still there, and maybe a few other stragglers along the way.
Yeah, we've all got a view on this one. I think Malky Mackay deserves another chance. I saw a bit in a paper this morning that said he didn't think he was due another chance. You know, I didn't agree with any of it at all. I'm under the impression that Malky actually repented, went on a course, you know, did everything he had to do, you know, to try and get back on the rails. I think he was very upfront with everything that he had done. And if it was Malky Mackay, I wouldn't have a problem. But I really think Tommy Wright, for what he's done at St Johnstone, Dundee United have just went into that league. I'm not saying it's going to be enough of a struggle for them, but initially their main objective will be to stay in that. The first year to stay in the Premier League. And I think Tommy Wright is the man who's proved at St Johnstone that he can do that. So it's between the two of them. I wouldn't have a problem which one it was. I think two of them would do a very, very good job.
Yeah, I think two of them, Tam, would keep Dundee United fans happy, either one.
Yep, absolutely. Tommy Wright, of course, still available for work. He looks like a proverbial safe pair of hands, Peter. But I think crucially, maybe with Dundee United, the club and the fans should be looking at is that Tommy, of course, operated in very much a shoestring budget at McDermott Park. And, you know, I don't know what sort of ambition Dundee United have got in the top flight next season, if that indeed is where they end up. But every club is going to be operating in a shoestring budget next season because of the economic crisis. So I think a guy like Tommy Wright would make perfect sense. He does seem the ideal fit. He obviously likes kind of Tayside on the whole. We know how much his family means to him, and you know, maybe for all we know that he prefers just being back in Northern Ireland and kind of his days in Scotland are over. But I think if I was a Dundee United fan, I think I'd quite warm to the idea of Tommy Wright. The other one that I found quite interesting, I wonder if there's a wee bit of magic left in this duo, was the Jim McIntyre and Billy Dodds. Both of whom have done the bizzo at Dundee United. Both, unless I'm very much mistaken, highly thought of by the fans. And then another one that I like, the real kind of dark horse that was mentioned last week in terms of cutting his managerial teeth. He certainly knew how to do it as a player. Was a gentleman you had on just a few weeks ago, Darren Fletcher. You know, but I just wonder if with the way Scottish football is just now, As I say, Darren, you just imagine, you assume that Darren Fletcher, even just with I know he would know the score in Scotland and the size of the clubs and the money generated in Scottish football, but something tells me that Darren Jackson, just because he's upbringing, if you like, at Man United, he would maybe expect a bit of a budget and think that he'd be able to spend money to help him out as a rookie boss. And I don't think that sort of cash is going to be there. So in short, I think Dundee United will go for Tommy Wright, and I think Tommy would do the bizzle at Tannadice. I think it'd be a great booking.
Yeah, you did mention Darren Jackson's name there, Tam, and Roughie nearly fell off the chair, but I know you meant Darren Fletcher. But it's an interesting
Sorry,
one.
Darren Fletcher, yeah.
Yeah, Jacko was just getting excited there as he's watching the programme. But nevertheless, Darren Fletcher would be, I think, one of those guys that gets them interested as well. I did actually have a chat with the powers that be at Dundee United 24 hours ago, and with Steve McLaren out of the equation, they're hoping to try and announce something by the weekend. So hopefully United fans will get their favoured choice, someone that gets them excited, someone that gets them buying season tickets, because that seems to be the key to it all here. Season tickets. Would you buy a season ticket for your club knowing that you're going to be watching them basically on a stream, first of all, before you even contemplate getting into the ground? And again, Tam, I would say to you that Jason Leach, who regularly speaks to you, is not far off the mark, because Nicola Sturgeon has said, even talk of Celtic and Rangers coming together in October, anybody thinking that fans are all going to be in there en masse, or at least, in huge numbers, are wide of the mark.
Yeah, I heard the media briefing at lunchtime today. There was obviously a lot of big news in that, in terms of beer gardens, pubs, etc., etc. But you find yourself watching these things, hoping for a wee bit of salvation when it comes to football news. And he's been very constant with us. He's always said that the August the first start for football, Peter, he could still only pencil, and he's not reaching for the inky yet. He's not got the Sharpie out his top pocket. But today he was saying that he could only pencil in the very notion of fans getting into the grounds in October. Now, the bottom line is we all need to get back there. We need to get playing. We know the season has to get up and running for the Sky TV deal. As much as I'd mentioned for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks in a variety of media platforms, including your own, about my fantasy of playing out the conclusion of season 1920. I now know that would have helped iron out a lot of the petty arguments and a lot of the faff that's going on with us. I now fully know that we can't do that, of course, now. But with the season starting, I still wish there was some way almost to comfortably, and if the finances allowed it, to delay the Scottish season until we could get crowds in. See if that was at all humanly possible, because Peter, and I know you love the English football, but when you watch some of these games, it is absolutely soul-destroying. You really do need, never was a truer spoken word. I know Matt Busby, the Man United fans, were trying to give him the credit the other week, but not a truer word was spoken when the late, great Jock Stein said about, football without fans is nothing. Some huge fixtures, and, maybe imagine how that would have been, the fans would have been looking forward to the game it's on tonight. Man City against Liverpool. Now, I'll tune in for that only for the panto of the surrounding stuff, like Man City, will they or won't they give Liverpool a guard of honour? I don't know what the latest is in that. I'm sure they will, But the minute then the game kicks off, I'll probably last 2 minutes and I think, I can know this again, and switch off. And I really fear for that in Scottish football. I know we'll be up another level, Peter, because it is Scottish football, and all us and the folk tuned in at home, near and afar, we've all got our own team, and that'll give you that wee extra bit of interest. But it's going to be sad. If I can say just one last thing in that, the new Peter, I know I'm babbling on here a bit, but as we move into phase 3, for example, I don't know what the story is, sitting maybe outdoors with a couple of your pals that you would ordinarily sit inside a stadium with, in my case, Fir Park, and maybe if one of them had a kind of quite a big laptop or a big tablet or whatever that you could comfortably sit around while socially distancing at 1 metre, as it will be then. I wonder if that's the nearest we'll get to an early return of fans being at the football, sitting there with your pals.
It's interesting because Aberdeen, again, hopeful they say before the end of September, 7,500 fans inside Pittodrie. I think,
They say that every season.
I know. Well, that's my point on it, because I'm looking at it, Roughie, and I'm saying to myself, as Tam highlights there, you can only ever deal with the facts. And I constantly listen to the First Minister, and then, of course, Jason speaks so eloquently about what's happening, where we are on the graph, what's the chances of any mass crowds getting into any sporting event. And I just can't see it happening. So from that point of view, I think I'll watch Man City Liverpool. I thought Chelsea against West Ham was a good game last night, Roughie. Even without the fans, it was still a good game. But I take the point that Tam's making there, because some of the games that you're so looking forward to in Scotland will just have that soulless feeling about it. Although I would suggest, Roughie, some of them it won't make the blind bit of difference, because there's nothing worse. Sky Sports used to complain all the time when they would be following a game where you see a big empty stand behind the goal.
Yeah, well, that's what you're saying. It's not going to make much difference to us, because most of our games like that are, if you go up to St Johnstone or you go to Kilmarnock, the stadium's half empty anyway, so the atmosphere, it might be even worse, that there is nobody there. So Tam's right to a certain extent, but I agree with you. I thought last night's game, I thought the VAR enhanced it a wee bit, the West Ham game, and tonight will probably be the same. But no, well, Lobos talking about trying experiments here and there, and I think that's what clubs have got to do. They've got to sort of take it very, very gradual, even though it was just 2,000 people going into a 50,000 stadium, and then they would see the do's and don'ts and the problems that they're going to be confronted with. I think we'd have to early stages, bit by bit, and take it forward. But you're right, it seems a million miles away, October, even November, so let's hope they can get round it some way.
Yeah,
I think where it's going to really hit home for me, Peter, quite frankly, is we enjoyed, maybe you're going back 10 years now or whatever, with a run 6 out of 7 seasons, Motherwell were getting into Europe. We have, of course, qualified again this season. The draw is going to be made imminently, and I think they're looking to get the first tie. Certainly the round that Motherwell will be in is scheduled for late August, and that for me is where it's really going to hit home. The very idea. Now, I know it's just a matter of, because I try to play catch up here, there are not going to be 2 legs in any of these games. First out the hat, you're at home, and that is the game. Over 90 minutes, win, you're in the next round, lose, you're back home. But if we get a home tie, let's say, in this first qualifying round that we go into, and it's going to be heartbreaking, not just for me, of course, for every Motherwell fan, but to have to watch your team in Europe, which down through the years historical, we've not had that much of. As I say, we went through that wee golden period under Craig Brown, Stuart McCall, Mark McGee showed us to the UEFA Cup, of course, first time in ages back in 2007. But for fans to be sitting in the format that we're watching this programme, watching your team in European competition, that's going to be a really, really sore one.
Yeah, absolutely. Ronnie Chapman says, can you give Owen Clark a shout out? It's his first time watching the show. Well, Owen, where have you been? You've missed some of the best guests across football, and then eventually they show up in some other shows and they parade them about as if they've never been speaking in about 30 years. So I've been reading that. You must see this. Yeah, we had him on.
If MD, in fairness to you, Peter, if MD's wanting to come in late to the programme, if they want to see the previous guests that have been on the show, just get the next day's newspapers. They're on there.
Exactly. I'll tell you one thing, Tam. Lots of people actually saying they're loving your outfit. There are too many suggestions of what you look like. Some of them are a wee bit near the bone, so I am not going to mention them. But nevertheless, Owen Clark, if you get a chance, like, share and follow us on our Facebook, and also as well you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you a penny, believe me. We're going to be giving away an iPad and a top of the range one at that next week, so we'll give you a chance to win that. We're also going to be giving away t-shirts as well, and lots of other little goodies as we get ready for the new season. We might even get to a situation, Roughie, where we give away some of the new strips that are on offer from some of the clubs as well. It's always a good giveaway, always very popular. And I think, I don't know about you, but the general feeling around some of the clubs at the moment is excitement about it all. Although, I have to say, Why Rangers just can't release the strip, and then we have to listen to this claptrap that follows on, whether Mike Ashley's in the background or Sports Direct have got a deal. I think the biggest issue here for Rangers is if you are launching the strip, if the fans like it and Rangers fans know that they're going to get the money going to the club, if they get a good proportion of that money, a fairer proportion, which every other club gets, if it's going to Rangers, who cares where they're sold? As long as Rangers are getting a fair price for every shirt sold. Is that fair?
The thing is, exactly, Peter, they were always, sorry, Roughie, they were always going to be sold elsewhere as well. I know they've got their issues with Sports Direct and Mike Ashley, but the company who are manufacturing the kit, they're a business. And they too have been hit hard by the economic recession, and that's going to continue for a while. So I think the simple answer for Rangers fans is quite simply buy it direct for the club. Don't buy it from the chain of shops that Mike Ashley owns, and then you won't need to line his pockets. But the manufacturing firm that have designed the kit, they're not just going to allow Rangers alone to sell it. They're trying to make a bit of money here as well. And it's like Motherwell. It's like Motherwell signing a deal with Levi's. And us being able to say to Levi's, right, we don't want you to sell jeans anywhere else in the world except the Fir Park gift shop. That's clearly not going to happen. For the Rangers fans, who I understand perfectly well why they've got an axe to grind with Mike Ashley and Sports Direct, just buy the strip for your club. And that's it. And even if you're a 93-year-old Rangers fan who doesn't know how to buy anything online, and I'm a wee bit like that myself, ask your boy, ask your grandson, ask anybody, and they'll help you. It's easy peasy.
Yeah, but the point I would like to make here is we don't have an axe to grind on Mike Ashley. What I would say is that the key issue here is whether the Rangers shirts are being sold in Sports Direct or not. If they're being sold in Sports Direct and Rangers are getting a good percentage of that shirt sale, Roughie, then, all well and good. All well and good. The problem before was that Rangers fans weren't willing to buy in that particular score. And again, I would stress, we've got no axe to grind with Mike Ashley's Sports Direct. But Rangers fans didn't want to buy them because they knew that Rangers were getting very, very little in the deal, which they signed, which, rightly or wrongly, they signed that deal.
Yeah, you're right. That I agree with both of you. The income coming to the club, you can't refuse coming from anywhere at this stage. So I would just go on with it. Try and sell as many at your own place, and if you have to sell it in Aberdeen or Dundee or wherever, then I'm sure there'll be a lot abroad as well, and a lot of people abroad want to buy strips in America. We keep hearing that Rangers and Celtic have got very, very large supporters over in America and everywhere, So no, I think that you just have to take as much money in as possible in the state of where we are.
Yeah,
and incidentally, Peter, I don't know if this will encourage or discourage people, but this is actually the new Motherwell home top that I'm modelling today. So.
the thought, listen, at the end of the day, the way he's putting that squad together and what he's talking about, I don't think they would care, because we'll talk about that shortly, Tam, and we're going to hear from Gary McAllister, but we're going to talk about Motherwell, and I want you to get in your head, Tam, just before we get to it, who you would pick for Motherwell's Player of the Year. Start thinking about that from the season that was just finished there, because I spotted it online today and I thought, I wonder who was Motherwell's Player of the Year. Anyway, over and above that, here's a statement that Rangers released, which again is just, I think they should just be bothering about selling it and making sure they're getting the best price. Following the unveiling of the home jersey, Rangers continue to look forward to the long-term exclusive partnership with Castor, which, for the avoidance of doubt, is a direct agreement between those two companies with no other persons party to the deal. As is common practice in teamwear retail, Castor will form a number of wholesale supply arrangements with high street retailers in the UK and overseas, because that is key to the global aspirations of both Castor and Rangers. But the purpose of these arrangements will always be to maximise the availability and sales channels for Rangers products. Rangers' exclusive partnership with Castor ensures that Rangers always directly benefits with a royalty from the sale of the Rangers products manufactured, distributed and retailed by Castor. This includes all products distributed by Castor to high street retailers. Now, that for me is basically, listen, if you're getting the money, fine and dandy. I know you dropped off at that press release there, Tam, but what you didn't hear was, you didn't hear that it was 4:25, and what happens every now and then during every programme is some people get a chance to go and get ice in their drink because they know Roughie's having a drink with his ice, and they join in. And there's people walking in Strathclyde Park right now, Tam, and they're enjoying the show and they love the banter. They can't, because it's a podcast, see the ridiculous outfit you're wearing, but as they're walking, all of a sudden they jump because they can hear Roughie's ice in the glass on the podcast. And they know it's time to get themselves a drink as well. Okay.
No, listen, Rangers, it's a running gag, Peter, about the amount. Everybody in Scottish football knows that, the running gag about how many Rangers statements are released. But please, we don't need to read Rangers statements today with our kit to deal with a manufacturer. That is beyond tedium. Let them go on with it. Guys, if you don't want anything to do with Mike Ashley, buy the jersey for the club, and that's it. Leave them out. But if Castor are saying that they don't have any links with Mike Ashley, why have they released one of the tops with a 5XL label?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, the great thing about it is sometimes we like to deal in rumour and speculation, and of course, speculation never too far away from Alfredo Morelos. 1 minute it was his agent is saying he wants to go to Italy. Then this morning we get his real agent says, no, that's a lot of claptrap. He doesn't want to go to Italy. This is what Gary McAllister had to say on Morelos.
He's part of a squad, and he's no different to any other player. He's under contract here. He's obviously a Rangers player, and at this moment in time, he's been treated the exact same as everybody else. We're trying to get people up to match speed, up to the speed where we can start the season on the 1st of August. So that's it. You know, he's no different.
Okay, that's fine. All I would say, Roughie, is my opinion on this is I don't care whether he's going to Italy or not. My opinion is Rangers want to punt him now. Now's the time to get rid of him, get money in, and get someone that Steven Gerrard has identified from a list for the new season.
Yeah, I would think the Rangers manager at this moment in time will be going through a list. They'll be phoning as many people as he knows to see who's available. And it's okay, the other agent saying, no, he didn't want that. But I think we've all known from even November that he's a player who does want to move on, and he wants to move on as quickly as possible. He has bigger sights that he thinks he can play at a level, and we're seeing him, he can score goals. But I was going to mention it the other day there that who would you say the Rangers' best player is this year? Who would you say at the moment on the books, the most high-profile player?
The best player?
No, the most high-profile player. Player we all talk about.
It's got to be Morelos. High profile. He's never out the news.
Yeah.
So I would say if I'm launching my football kit, my most high profile player has got a strip on in that photo.
Yeah.
I didn't see him in any strip at all.
No, I know, but we know
in that kit.
But we know they want to punt him, Roughie. It's not a secret. It's not.
What I'm saying is
these are
the kind. Yeah, but I'm saying is that's the kind of signs you read between the lines that
Roughie's been watching Columbo again, haven't you? That's how you've been filling your days.
Roughie's been waiting for the calendar to come out to finally drop that we want rid of Morelos.
It's a new one. It's on Ironside.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think they bother about stuff like that. I get exactly Roughie's point there, but see, in this day and age, Peter might even know the name. I'm pretty sure that the big kind of squad photo of the team captains from every club, every senior club in Scotland at the start of last season, when they gathered for that photo, I believe there were 3 captains missing. But in this day and age, the technical whiz kids just did their over-elaborate bit of photoshopping and that, go on the computer, bang, 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 and there they were. So I don't think you need to really worry about about things like that in this day and age. My only, if I was a Rangers fan, I'd only be wishing you could maybe turn the clock back 6 months if they are selling Morelos, because you would undoubtedly have got a higher fee for him, I reckon, back then, because his second half to the season there, what we played of it. Now, don't get me wrong, I think other Rangers players were in the same boat. It's been well documented that since they came back from Dubai, they just weren't the same, and some horrendous results along the way. But I wonder just how much that decreases his price tag if he does leave, or he's got everything that he did do up until then in the CV. They've got the video clips, they've got the archive footage, they've got the stats about his amazing runny goals in the first half of that season and last year. I wonder if that's good enough to get the dosh in, or are Rangers going to be at the mercy again of the economic crisis, and will they hold their hands up and say, there's no way we are going to get the sort of money we would have once got for Morelos. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing about it is they couldn't take the gamble of punting him in the January transfer window, to be honest with you, Tam, because that would have left them wide open to criticism, not knowing that they were going to collapse anyway. So, listen, we know he's going. We just want to know at what point it goes, and if it's enough time for Rangers to get someone in that can bed themselves in quickly, because they have to hit the ground running. And this is what Gary McAllister was saying about the new season.
So Monday's a big day for all the guys to get a look at how the season's going to look. Listen, we know how key it is to start a season well. It's the facts are, for us, we've got to try and get a fast start, a good start, and dropping points can make things very difficult.
Yeah, I won't have a word said against him, Roughie. I played against him in the school team. He comes from my village. He's a brilliant lad. He was a top drawer player. And again, talks a lot of sense with regards to the new season. Gary McAllister.
Oh, no, most definitely. Any time I've met him, very thorough in everything he does, and you can see why Steven Gerrard gave him the number 2 job. I think all the players would sort of respond to him. He has done a lot, and particularly when he went to Liverpool. I think Liverpool was a big surprise to everybody how well he did there. So, no, he's had a fantastic career at club level and Scottish. I think he's a great guy.
Roughie, you'll be amazed, actually, the amount of people they always suggest something for us to watch just in case we're struggling at times. And then you'll be amazed the amount of people who obviously react to everything that we chat about on the show. Remember when you revealed that Senga was your first love? Hi to Brian Roberts, who sent us a photograph. He thinks he's tracked down Senga. I must pass it on to you, Roughie. Senga, she hasn't actually. She's had a tough life. If the photograph is accurate from Brian Roberts, let me tell you. Anyway, all a bit of fun. And John McShane, who is, I think, out in America, if my memory serves me correct, possibly Canada, says he's just watched Maradona in Mexico and says it's well worth a watch. That's the great thing about it, Tam. In lockdown, we've all been clamouring just to get something worthy of our attention because we'll get no football to watch.
Absolutely. I'm quite alarmed, though, by the amount of folk who are telling us good things that are on the telly at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a bit naughty.
Absolutely.
They're rotters.
Yes.
See if you want a wee taste of Peter and Roughie. I mean, you ask folk, and it's a 50-50 thing here. It's love it or hate it. A lot of folk, I've watched that. A lot of folk, never seen an episode in my puff. Because we've been kind of deprived of the sunshine and the summer holidays, I've started watching Benidorm again. Did you watch any of that, Roughie? First time around.
Yeah, I thought it was very good.
Aye,
very
brilliant.
Good.
Well, they're showing that again. There was an episode on last night. There's loads of them on catch up. Watch that. Sit back with a wee sangria. Have a laugh, and that's very, very good.
Yeah,
that's my top tip.
Not in a month of Sundays, I say to myself. The other thing I was going to say is Eddie Thompson has just said, and this is the great thing about this, the joy of this programme. I always tell you, Roughie, and this is the great thing I always mention to you about, we can always tell when we're on the after-dinner circuit. When I walk onto the stage, I know exactly who gleefully would scalp me over the top of the head with a baseball bat before I've opened my mouth. I can always gauge the crowd, Tam. You know what it's like, don't you? Eddie Thompson Thompson, it says, Peter, what have you got against Morelos? Is it personal? Well, Eddie, I'll read out Sean Russell's as well. He says, Peter, Morelos hasn't said he wants away. Rangers haven't said they want rid of him. It's all agent talk as per usual. You don't know he'll be away. Stick to the facts and not made up. Well, Sean, with regards to this is quite simply that, Morelos, I think he's going to be away. It's just an opinion. That's why people watch the programme. They want opinions. They want an insight into what you think of a player. I don't have anything personal against Morelos because, quite simply, my dealings with him have all been excellent. First class. I just say that the man scored 29 goals. I think Rangers want to sell him. Certainly when I read between the lines on 1,000,001 things that have happened, I think Rangers would look to punt him on for 10 million if they could get 10 million. It's as simple as that. If you don't want opinions on the programme, don't listen to it. Don't watch it. Go somewhere else. We're giving you the opinion on it. I think they want to sell him. I think he'll go, Roughie, if they get the right money. Whether they get it or not is another matter.
No, I think we all agree up until November he was absolutely outstanding. He was fantastic. Big player for Rangers. The main player, the guy that was dragging them through games when it was struggling a wee bit, and everybody thought he was going to kick on. And he had a better, discipline-wise, he had a better season this year, but there was still signs of, it was there whenever things weren't going particularly well. And I think Steven Gerrard actually came to a press conference and said, look, enough is enough, he was letting him sort of get away with it for a wee while, but now he's had a word with him and he has to get it. I just feel the vibes there are that he wants away. And we saw it with Celtic players as well. We saw it.
Roughie, you don't need to justify Celtic in the argument. I don't need to pander. I don't think we need to pander to Rangers fans. This guy was getting sent off non-stop. The manager came out and had to defend him, and then eventually he didn't defend him. Then he scored 29 goals. There's been non-stop speculation about him. All the stuff, when you look at Rangers being derailed in the second half of the season, he was one of the reasons. He didn't score a goal, couldn't score a goal against Celtic, couldn't score a goal after January. He was one of the reasons why the back end fell out of Rangers' title charge. Don't need to pander and throw in Celtic players in this. This guy is somebody Rangers will sell. That's the opinion on it. And if you look at why they didn't win games, he didn't score a goal in 2020. You can look back at it all you want. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't look and see if he's in a calendar. I'm giving you what I think has been what's unfolding with him. He didn't score in January, didn't score for the rest of the season. I think he might have got one goal. But Rangers didn't win. Their title challenge collapsed. And over and above that, apart from his disciplinary problems, which he seemed to be sorting out, there was non-stop speculation. If you're asking me for an opinion on Steven Gerrard on this, I think Steven Gerrard is saying, look, if we can get 10 million for him, bite the hand off them, and I can go and buy a player that will go again for us. Maybe somebody that we can sell on again. But that's what Rangers are looking for. They're looking for somebody who will come in and score goals and complement what they've got there already. I just thought Morelos derailed any chance Rangers had of winning the title.
A couple of points there, Peter. First up, agree with you what you've said about Morelos. Him as a character, what he was like, some of the antics on the pitch. But even if Rangers get £10 million for him, £10 million in this day and age doesn't guarantee 29 goals a season. So what a loss that is going to be. And just the other wee thing I would throw in for the Rangers fans that are tuned in, just for them to think over, is that I wonder if Morelos would actually thrive. I wonder if they'd get the very best out of Morelos in the games that are played behind closed doors, because he seems to be a guy that really comes alive in front of the big crowds. He would maybe even react to the big crowds. That would maybe even result in the red mist descending as it has in the past. I just wonder if you stick Morelos out there, as all the players are going to be for at least a few months, playing in front of empty terraces, empty stands. I just wonder if that would allow him to focus on what he's meant to be getting paid for, putting the ball in the back of the net. So it's an interesting thing. And 10 million, as I say, just to emphasise that point, that there's no guarantee they're going to replace Morelos and replace a number of goals with 10 million quid. That's in many respects chicken feed these days.
Yeah, absolutely. You only have to look at, lots of clubs who've sold players on, and then trying to get somebody who can replicate that is very difficult. Gary McPherson says, "Is Roughie not allowed an opinion without Peter say so?" Roughie is allowed an opinion, Gary, but Roughie's big enough, man enough, and old enough for me to say to him, "Don't start pandering to Rangers fans by throwing in a Celtic thing to try and give us the balance here. It doesn't need to be balanced. We're talking about Alfredo Morelos. We don't need to start justifying it and trying to get a bit of balance so we keep Rangers and Celtic fans all happy. Because on this show, we leather both of them. We don't give a flying hoot who's upset about it. But at the end of the day, I think he's going. Roughie thinks he's going. Tam?
I think they should keep him while the games are played behind closed doors as an experiment. I think I might be onto something here, a wee bit of psychology there. I bet he would thrive. You know what, Peter, the biggest thing I'll say for Morelos, for all his daftness and the amount of times, yep, absolutely, as a Motherwell fan, I would have leapt out my seat and accused him of play acting and rolling about when there was nothing wrong with him. He was a brilliant goal scorer, and he's into a small bracket of players who I've watched in Scottish football and feared the minute I saw them running out the tunnel at Fir Park. There's only a select few. The minute I saw them emerging, coming onto the pitch at Motherwell, I thought he's going to score against us. Henrik Larsson was one. Chris Boyd was another. Ali McCoist, a wee bit further back, was another. And the most up-to-date one, undoubtedly, Alfredo Morelos. I just thought, he knows where the goals are. He's going to score against us. So, as a Motherwell fan, I could say I'd be delighted to see him go, particularly as I don't think they'll be able to replace him with 10 million or whatever the fee is. But I bet you it'd be very, very interesting to see him playing behind closed doors when he doesn't even. He's one of these players as well. Another Rangers player, maybe like that, was wee Nacho Novo, who thrived in having the fans there chanting his name. And, he was a different guy entirely, a different character in front of a crowd when he really, really got worked up and everything. I think Morelos is like that, and I would just be very, very interested, as I say, to see what he'd be like behind closed doors. I wonder if he'd start banging the goals in again for fun.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I agree with you on that. But nevertheless, I mean, let's play him behind closed doors so that he can settle himself and not get the aggro. He scored goals with people in the stadium, 29 of them to be, exact on this one. But whether he goes or not, I mean, Andy Wilson says, what manager would want Morelos, Peter? Quite a lot of people would want Morelos. Oh. He can score goals, the boy. That's not what we're debating. We're debating whether Rangers want to sell him or not. I think they do. It's not a crime to say it. Let's move on to Motherwell, Tam, because, over maybe 3-4 days ago, Stephen Robinson said that he reckoned he's got the best squad assembled that he's had in 4 years. So he's getting excited about it all, and he's hoping he can get Jake Hastie on a loan deal as well.
Yeah, he did say he thinks he's got the strongest squad that he's had in about 4 years. I'd be interested to see about Peter Hartley and Richard Tate, to name but two, made of that. But he's brought in a couple of interesting guys. Ricky Lamy, of course. And then we've got the boy Nathan McGinley, who looks like he can play kind of left centre half or left wing back or wherever. And the Jake Hastie one, I mean, Jake was sensational at Motherwell. We've got the thing as well, of course, everybody hates with a lone player, that if he did come to Motherwell, then of course he couldn't actually play against Rangers, and you immediately think, you're not getting the full package when you enter into one of their deals. But the reason I would love Jake Hastie to come back is not only was he dynamite first time around, which is why Rangers swooped like a vulture to take him, but I think the boy himself would maybe think he's got a wee point to prove, because it basically didn't work out when he left Motherwell and went to Rangers. I think there's enough that I've seen of him, enough about him, that would make him want to say, you know what, I'll show all my doubters, and I think then Motherwell would benefit from that. So I'm quietly confident about the squad that Stevie Robinson has put together. I must say as well, Peter, huge relief, and I've already spoken to Stevie about it, that he didn't get the Northern Ireland job, but it backs up maybe what I said last week. I think there's no way he wasn't going to not go for the interview and voice an interest, because if when the time comes and he really wants an international job, which I think he'll do eventually, far too young for it now, and you know what he's like, the wee buzz bomb character, he wants to be working with players on a daily basis. He wants to be out in the training ground on a daily basis. That's what he's all about. I really hope, good luck to him, if he get an increased deal for Motherwell to help persuade him to stay at Fir Park, then brilliant, because he'd be fairly out of pocket, the difference between the Motherwell job and Northern Ireland. So everything's kind of gradually fitting into place at Motherwell now, and I just wish we could get the fans there to watch it.
I think I tipped Motherwell last season to finish top 3, Roughie. Do you remember?
It was a surprise to me. I thought they were absolutely outstanding. I thought they were the surprise team of the season. I think some of the football they were playing was excellent. As we all know, it's going to be even tougher for them next year to maintain that. I think everybody else will be trying to get their act together. But no, you can't take anything away from Motherwell. They were superb, and we've spoke about it on numerous occasions here. He has a knack of bringing in players that most of us have never heard of before, and they seem to fit in. So, I think they'll have another good season next year.
Yeah,
and one guy that we have heard of, Peter, of course, and this is only a rumour and it's idle speculation, but I still keep hearing, you probably have done yourself, the name Louis Moult being bandied about, as if we could maybe, it's not quite happened for Louis doing it Preston, if we could maybe entice him back, that would be just utterly sensational, being quite incredible. But yeah, the way it's going now, I'm quite happy. We did play, what I would even say to some of your viewers as well, Peter, and listeners, whenever I mention Motherwell on the football show, and then if maybe later have a wee look at some of the Facebook comments that have been coming in, you still can't mention Motherwell, and I want you to correct everybody here, Peter, in a fair and balanced way. You still can't mention Motherwell, or I certainly can't, without folks still using words like hammer throwers, are nothing but thugs. They're a physical team. Yeah, I've no doubt about it. Stevie Robinson admitted it 4 years ago now. We did have a wee bit more physicality about the team, shall we say. There were a few more crunching tackles. There were a few more maybe elbows flying about the place. But we have completely changed our style of play in recent years. And quite frankly, I shouldn't be surprised. You still get folks saying, there'll be folks saying with my outfit, aye, Cowan, your outfit will suit Fir Park because it's all sand everywhere. But, the pitch, the Fir Park pitch, get with the programme. The Fir Park pitch was turned into a bowling green about 7 or 8 years ago now. It's arguably the best playing surface in Scotland. So folk need to move with the times a wee bit.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, Roughie, but 2 out of the 3 people who are on the show today seem to have lost the heat. Me and Tam have started to throwing grenades everywhere. We just need you to do it, Roughie, for something that's angering you as well. Nevertheless,
just wait until tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait for tomorrow for you. Your face is going to be like fizz. But listen, Motherwell played good football. I tipped them at the start of last season to finish third. They did so on the evidence of what Stephen Robinson's doing. I'm a big fan of Stephen Robinson. I love the way the club is run. I think it's run brilliantly. I think they've got a great PR department. I think they promote Motherwell in the correct manner. And amazingly, I had my doubts maybe a couple of years ago when the fans, and all the money was suddenly, it was going to be, a supporters' trust that were running the club. I worried about whether they'd be able to keep it all going in a positive manner. They have done, which is to their eternal credit. And I think they've got a great manager and a good mix of youth coming through as well, which has allowed them to, see Richard take out the door, Peter Hartley, and there hasn't been too much flack. Sometimes you get a wee bit of flack if you've got a couple of good performances who go out the door and the fans are not happy about it. But he's managed to ride that storm. He's there. He's building another team. And I'm going to be really excited about seeing Motherwell and how they're going to play this season. You're right, Tam. The pitch is indeed like a bowling green. But I think everything's positive about Motherwell at the moment. Who's your player of the year, Tam?
You know who I'm going to say right away, but Declan Gallagher. But the main reason here, Peter, is I'm struggling to remember. Capped players at Mull are few and far between anyhow. But I'm struggling to remember the last time a talent like Declan Gallagher emerged in a Motherwell strip, who then get international recognition and who looks as if it would be crazy to even think about him getting back out of that Scotland squad. So that's the highest praise I can pay him. The minute he went into the Scotland team last year, he looked so comfortable. Absolutely no harm to the big McKenna at Aberdeen, but he looked, I thought, head and shoulders above him. So for a player like that to absolutely blossom, I know he was dynamite as well at Livy, and I think we're maybe, in terms of his age and that, we're just getting him at the right time for a player in his position. But as I say, he was like Beckenbauer at times last year. Great charging forward with the ball as well. Great awareness. He was one of the players that quite a few that Roughie will have played with, who sometimes seem to be a yard or two in the head ahead of other players. And as I say, he'll be a fixture now. Take it from me, he will be a fixture now in the Scotland setup. And as I say, I've not seen many players like that down through the years at Motherwell.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. I would say one thing though, Roughie. I'd love us to get a settled and formidable physical couple of centre halves that suddenly settle us down. I mean, I'd love a right back as well, but I think the dilemma that we have, and I'm not sure if Tam's going to be happy with what I'm about to say, but I think Scotland moving forward will have Kieran Tierney as left centre half, Andy Robertson as maybe left of a 3-5-2, and then it's one other centre half and another centre half, and then a right. The right fullback may well be a Ryan Fraser. That's this, and I'm telling you that on the basis that, having spoken to the Scotland manager, and that his trek around so many grounds across the United Kingdom looking for a right back of international standard is fruitless at the moment, and getting that solid central defensive partnership is going to be tough, and he's still got to accommodate two absolutely top drawer left backs, and he can't play both of them at left back.
No, I would like us to be really positive at home. I think at home we should be doing 3-5-2. We should have two strikers on the park. We should have three decent defenders at the back who can deal with one striker, because most teams who come just play with one up front. Away from home's a different kettle of fish. I do think we need, as you say, a couple of solid centre halves, and then obviously structuring the formation of the team around that. But I think we've got, particularly at home, I would like to see is more positive. And I think we're getting there with the midfield boys that are now becoming available. And I really do hope we can get by this next game that we've got coming up, because I think that would just lift everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, Tam. I mean, 3-5-2 is the way I see him trying to put it together, because he's got such an abundance of talent in the midfield. I mean, I think everybody's hoping that in the next 6 months suddenly we see Billy Gilmore on a regular basis, and it could be a Gilmore, a McGregor, a McGinn, and then a Robertson and a Fraser, and then up front you're saying to yourself, will it be Griffiths and a Shanklin, or Griffiths and, dare I say it, could Lyndon Dykes have a half decent second season and opt for Scotland?
Yeah, I don't know who it was that first said it, but good players can play anywhere, and I've not really lost a lot of sleep over the debate over Tierney and Robertson. I just think just get the two of them in there anyhow, because we know the two of them are brilliant players. It is, of course, sad that when you think back in some of the guys that Roughie played with, whether it had been a Danny McGrain, a Sandy Jardine, any of the great right backs, we don't seem to have an obvious contender right just now, but one may emerge again, and it would appear that Stevie Clarke is the sort of guy that is willing to cap younger boys as well. So you never know, we might get a wee surprise package that appears who could fill that gap, and then we've all got something to look forward to. But again, my fear, I hope we can just get, when it comes to the Israel game, for example, Peter, I would really, really hope, we sometimes take them for granted and trot out all the cliches about them when you talk about the Tartan Army. But I'll tell you what, we would much sooner have Hampden Park been in a position where we can have it packed out for the game against Israel, rather than empty terraces, because bang goes home advantage right away. That's the bottom line. We're on level footing then, and we want a wee bit of a head start. The 13th man, the 12th man, whatever you want to call it, coming for the stands in the shape of the Scotland fans. So fingers crossed with that.
Yeah. Eddie Thompson says, is there a finding in the SPFL Hearts court case yet, Peter? I've heard it's been referred to the SFA. Well, as you mentioned at the top of the programme, Roughie, going to a third day, and the third day, hopefully we'll finally get a resolution to this, that we can not necessarily move on, because it might move on to an SFA arbitration.
Yeah, the SFA arbitration has been muted as one of the ways that the judge might go down. As I say, we'll just have to wait and see in that one. You know, I don't think it's something that we would want. We would rather an independent arbitration sorted it out, because there's been so much happening in Scottish football. You wouldn't know who would be on that arbitration if it was the SFA. So, no, we'll just have to wait and see. There's no point in guessing. You know, once we find out what it is, then we can deal with it.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say to you, Roughie, is, we're talking about season tickets and how they're snapping them all up. Rangers fans have 40,000, which is incredible. I think Hibs fans are 9,000 as well. You know, fans across the country are responding. No surprise that per head of population, we have the best attended games across Europe. But I'm looking at Celtic announcing that there's 17,000 on the waiting list, and the fans have until, I think, next Tuesday to get their season tickets, or somebody else will snap them up. It's a brilliant bit of PR spin, that, isn't it? I mean, you get 17,000. That's what I call, by the way, it's almost like the bogeyman, isn't it? By the way, if you don't get those season tickets, somebody else is going to take yours. You know, it's a brilliant bit of PR. I mean, I'm dying to know how many are actually going to jump in there.
Yeah, well, I think every supporter at this stage will want a ticket. It is a wee G up. You know, I'm sure nobody will want to be left out, and we know how many people are on standby at these two massively big clubs. So a lot of people who will be thinking, oh, there may be a chance I get a season ticket this year. But I'm like you. I think they'll move very, very quickly to shift in.
Yeah, it's going to be the mother of all seasons, this one, and we can't wait. We just wish everybody was in the ground to see the start of it anyway. And with that in mind, there's going to be lots of players coming in and out. You might want to give us a sample of the players you'd like to see at your club and who you'd like to see shunted out the door as well. Although rather worryingly for me, I think from the PFA Scotland, and certainly on the evidence of what Barry Ferguson was saying yesterday, sadly, a lot of really good players, and a lot of players will be in Scotland looking and reassessing their career and where they're going to play and whether they're going to go part-time, because football is not immune to what's happening across the world with relation to the global pandemic and the economic difficulties that many countries face across the world. So it's going to be difficult times for a number of footballers. Not all of them are going to get the club they want and the wages they want as well. And again, managers might come and go as well. We're waiting for the Dundee United boss, Tam, but I think it's always a worry. I mean, I don't know if you know this guy's name. Quique Setien is the Barcelona manager, and he's under a wee bit of pressure at the moment. I think when you start to hear in the Spanish press Barcelona or Real Madrid manager under pressure, that means he's getting the bullet. That means he's getting bulleted shortly. But I always get worried. If I was Quique Setien right now, I'd be sitting there saying, now I'm looking at the paper and it says Ronald Koeman has bought a house in Barcelona. Now, I don't know about you, but the alarm bells would start ringing. I'd start saying, quick, get the house on the market.
That's our equivalent would be, I'll always love when you hear that, there'll be a Dundee United fan already who's seen Tommy Wright in the Dundee B&Q this week, you know, and then that's where they say, it's definitely Tommy, it's definitely Tommy. Listen, Peter, for all you were saying about the economic global crisis, I can't have too much sympathy for a guy who's going to get punted at Barcelona, because he'll get an absolute fortune, and the very fact that he's got Barcelona on his CV means that he'll have no issue, I'm sure, getting another gig. So I don't think we need to lose too much sleep over old Kiki. But thanks for pointing them out to me.
Absolutely.
I loved him when he did that. I loved him when he did the duet with Elton John. That was sensational. 77, I think.
I don't know about you, Tam, but when I was a kid, it's like, it is toilet humour. But, when I was a boy, Roughie, I was only maybe 6 or 7. If you heard that name on the telly, you would just start laughing. I mean, Kike is not a great name if you lived in Scotland. He couldn't come and manage over here. It's like Raphael Scheidt. I mean, honestly, he get pelters over here. And the other one that I used to laugh at when he played for Spain was Lopez Ufarte. These are just fantastic. these are fantastic names, but not for Scotland, where we absolutely thrive on toilet humour.
Paul Bozic. He was always a favourite of mine as well.
Exactly.
Incidentally, can I ask you, Peter, and I want the honest truth here. I want the honest truth because forevermore, myself and my off-the-ball buddy, Mr. Cosgrove, always like to take credit for being the first people to pronounce Raphael Scheidt's name properly. And I want the honest truth here, Peter. Tell me where you were broadcasting when Raphael Scheidt joined Celtic, and how did you say his surname at the time? Be honest.
Well, I think his name, if I'm correct in this, is Scheidt.
That's correct.
And it would have been pronounced Raphael Scheidt.
Did you say Scheidt at the time?
Yes, but the one thing I would say to you in defence of that, Tam, and remember, on Radio Clyde, and I would say to you that we would have said that name, but we would not then have been asked on a regular basis to say it, because, as you know, the Celtic and Rangers fans who phone in to Radio Clyde would have a field day with him, and after about 5 games, when everybody realised he was ranked rotten, everybody wanted us to mention his surname on a regular basis. Aye. But I don't know about you, Roughie, but and this is just totally aside from football in Scotland at the moment, but when we were on Radio Clyde, Tam, and Roughie might have been on Real Radio at the time, we actually, our bosses would not allow you to say certain things. There's certain words that you wouldn't say, and rightly so, because we were guided heavily by Ofcom. But you guys, you and Cosgrove get away with murder. Roughie and I used to say to each other, how did they get away with saying that in the BBC? And we would be up in front of Ofcom for half the profanities that you guys use.
I pride myself in the fact, in 25 years of doing that show, I have never uttered a swear word live on air. No. Mr. Cosgrove, one of them was recently, in fact, has twice had to offer an apology in the last few seconds of a lunchtime broadcast because a wee sweary slipped out. And of course, we had our famous episode, and actually I saw the man himself back in February, not long before all this kicked in, Mr. Jose Kuatongo, who famously let the C-bomb slip, which I will never forget. I just thought that. Can you imagine, Peter, seriously, if someday in a commercial radio station like Radio Clyde had used the C word? It'd just be over. It'd be finished.
Yeah, exactly.
But you
socks
remember,
2 for a pound. Socks 2 for a pound.
Oh, at least I've got the outfit.
You will remember that it took me 3 hours to talk my way out of a situation one Saturday afternoon when you tried to tag me with Kenny Rogers.
Aye. For some reason, there was some running gag earlier when somebody had mentioned Kenny. Somebody said to me on air, Kenny Rogers, and I said, aye, so does Roughie. Right, and it was, and this was actually before the show, and then utterly bizarrely, our 2 guests on the show, live on air in Radio Scotland, for different reasons, both of them mentioned Kenny Rogers independently of each other. So I was, of course, able to suffix each of them with so does Roughie. And it was just a wee private joke. But what I didn't realise, that I believe Roughie was listening to that particular show in the car with his good lady, Maggie. So there we go.
Yes.
Them's the I'll tell you what I did. Hey, Peter. Yeah. Strictly between us and the football show audience. I won't, of course, say who this is. We had somebody on the show about 8 years ago, a very high-profile guest, in fact. And this person was on the show, And the next thing, I got a word through my headphones that we had this person's sister who had just sent in an email. So the producer was saying, we're going to hand you in an email that's just come in for this guest's sister with some big news, right? Now, whatever it was that the big news was, I can't even remember. But the minute I said this to the guest, your sister has just contacted the show with some big news. As a gag, I said, you're adopted, right? And then we forgot all about it. The sister contacted me, whatever the big news was, something that happened in the family, blah, blah, blah. And then after the show, 2:00, said guest came out to me and said, how did you know about that? And I said, what? and he said, I am adopted. He said, I thought you knew when you said that. I was just wanting to know if you'd read it somewhere, had somebody let it slip, had it appeared in a newspaper article. But it was a very, very high-profile guest. And I said, no, it was just a wee laugh at the time. But, just one wee moments you never forget.
Yeah, I think I don't know you, Roughie, but another hour from now, I'll be calling him when we come off here. It's a Stonewall certainty. Tam, don't turn your phone off. We need that name.
I won't.
No, absolutely not. Listen, some news, as ever, always breaks on the show. Scottish League One clubs have agreed to start their season on 17th of October and play 27 games instead of 36. They'll follow the same calendar as the Championship. Premiership is still scheduled to begin on the 1st of August as things stand, and that's from the SPFL board. So that's League One and the Championship obviously getting ready.
And Peter, that's where it stinks. That is where it stinks, because as things stand, through no fault of their own, when they could have got out of it, 2 points behind with a game in hand, Partick Thistle are going to be going into that League One. And a big club like Partick Thistle, at a time when every penny is a prisoner, they're not even going into a league where they're going to get the full quota of games to try and get some kerching coming into the club. It's been reduced to 27. That's where this is absolutely potty, and it can be best summed up by that.
Yeah, I still think somewhere along the line, Roughie, there might be one last twist in this whole affair, and I'm not talking about the court situation. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
It will have to be a really quick twist, Peter, if the SPFL are going to release the fixture list on Monday. That's a definitive for me. You know, they're going to look extremely silly if they let the fixture list out and then say, right, Hearts, you're back in again, give the fixture list back and we'll change them. That would just sum the whole crazy situation up.
Yeah, there is a wee story coming out that Václav Schladke could be signing for Celtic. That would be an interesting one. I mean, I know there was speculation about David Marshall and others of Fraser Foster, but that certainly would be an interesting one. I don't think he would come in as number one. He might be alongside Scott Bain, one of the backups to their main number one keeper, Roughie. I think if they do get this guy, the ex-St Mirren goalkeeper Schladke, then he would be one of three keepers battling for the number one spot, but not the main choice.
No, I think Celtic have always operated with three top-class goalkeepers. They've done it for the last couple of seasons. The third choice keeper has to be a very strong keeper, to know that he's hardly going to get any games. So that boy had a very, very good season last year, so I can see why he would be up there. But for me, Marshall fits the bill for me. I think David Marshall's come on leaps and bounds with Scotland. He's got a right presence in the goal now. He's been there at Celtic. He knows the demands that you have to play for a big, big side. So for me, he'd be the first choice.
Okay, a couple of points before we finish and hear from Stevie McCormick as well on the programme. He's our 1-to-1 today as well. Got to catch up with Stevie. He's a big fan of the show. He regularly watches it, and I thought it was good to see what he was up to down south. He lives down in England now, and he had a good career up here in Scotland. Maybe not as high as he wanted to play, but this football show is about footballers from all across the divisions. We've had so many guests on, and Roughie will testify to this, and Tam as well, with the guest that he's had on with Cosgrove on the BBC. You pride yourself in getting guests from right across the whole divisions, all the divisions, and some with a Scottish connection, some with European connections, but we like to get people on who love football. But just before we get to Stevie, you don't like watching the games, Tam, but I have to say, from my point of view, Roughie, it was 2-2 last night, and the ball came up to Antonio, I think his name is, for West Ham. He was on the halfway line, and I was sitting on the couch, and I'm by no means a West Ham fanatic, but I was sitting on the couch. He held the ball, laid it back, and then all of a sudden I looked over and I thought, there's the West Ham striker, he's free. And I jumped off of the couch and I shouted, play him in, because I was just desperate for my old mate Davy Moyes, for his team to win the game and get the 3 points. And boy, did they. I don't know what it is. We all love anybody that we know. It's a little bit different for me because he's my pal, but you want them to win.
Yeah, of course you do. We've had Davy on the show on numerous occasions. It hasn't worked for him at some clubs for whatever reason, but no, you want to see him, digging West Ham out of this situation that they're in. And he looked a very sad figure when that VAR disallowed the goal earlier on in the game. So, yeah, he got his just rewards in the end, and good luck to them. And every point's a prisoner down there.
Oh, absolutely. If he keeps aiming, he will probably make West Ham 100 million plus by keeping them in that division. Of course, tonight, Tam's going to watch it for the first 2 minutes. That'll be really exciting for you, Tam. Manchester City against Liverpool. There might be a guard of honour. Pep Guardiola is rich in his praise of the new champions, Liverpool.
Football life is the sports helps you to understand is the incredible part of our education to accept that another one was better. And you have to try to reduce this gap that this year happened. From the last game, Newcastle, from tomorrow, for the future, for these 7, 8, or 9 or 10 games that we are left next season, work harder and do it better.
Yeah, nice little bit of praise there. I think they're going to spend a bit of money as well, Roughie.
Yeah, I think they will. But I think if Pep could go away back to the old days when we used to play in school, when somebody would say, right, the next goal's worth 23, he would be hoping the next game was worth 26 points. But that's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case. But no, I think he'll be more determined. That'll just make him sit up and take notice that he has to get some really, really decent players in.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Listen, Tam, as ever, and Roughie and myself want to thank each and every one of you for sticking with us on the programme. Don't forget you can like, share and follow. There's great competition prizes to win next week on the show. I do hope that you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube. You can subscribe. It doesn't cost you a penny. We're on Periscope and Twitter. You've got the podcast. You can listen to it if you miss it on any day. We've got on Instagram. And, of course, you get all the latest news across the globe on our website and on our app as well. And if you download the app, you can actually just post a wee message in Video Reporter as well. And thanks to so many people who are posting messages and joining us on the programme, the figures have been absolutely astounding for the show, and we want to thank you for that. One of the guys who's been a fan is an ex-footballer, like so many ex-footballers who watch the programme as well, to see who we've got as special guests, to hear the opinions of Roughie, forthright, cutting and opinionated, and of course they always like to see if Demis Roussos is coming back for the Eurovision Song Contest. And as you can see, I think Demis has lost a considerable amount of weight, and the hair has been shaved off, but he's looking magnificent. There's Tam every Thursday with us on the programme. I caught up with Stevie McCormick, the former Queen's Park, Stirling Albion and Dundee striker, to get his thoughts on what he's up to now. Well, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by our special guest, former Queen's Park, Stirling Albion, and 100 other clubs that will take too long to mention. Stevie McCormick, you've been watching the show on a regular basis. It was only right and proper that we got you on the show. Are you and the family safe and well?
We're absolutely superb at the moment. I'm down in England now, enjoying my life. I hate playing football. It's an absolute nightmare. I work in a home at the moment, and the boys want to play football with me, and I can't play anymore. I probably couldn't play in the first place. But
calm your jets. You're 50. You should still be playing with some of your mates.
Nah. See, when I was 30, I couldn't play either, or 20. I used to stand in the box and just let the ball hit me.
Well, to be honest with you, Tam McManus speaks very highly of you and the times that he encountered you.
I've got Tam shots. He's had shots. He used to play with me at East Fife. What a little legend he is, honestly.
For 1 minute,
Honestly.
I was panicking there what you were going to sum him up as.
No, Tam was superb. We used to have a laugh going up to East Fife. Tam was one of the best boys I've ever played with.
When you started out all those years ago at Queen's Park, who was the boss that gave you that start? Because you'd a good start to your season. Did you not score 17 goals in your first season at Queen's Park?
Aye, Eddie Hunter. Eddie Hunter was the most amazing manager you've ever had. See, if you had a headmaster or a school teacher, he would tell you what to do. You know what I mean? And you would do it. See, if you didn't do it, he would make you do it. He was superb for me.
Let me ask you this. There are many footballers who leave their chosen profession. Some play part-time and have other jobs. You are what I call the classic example in a footballer who is able to turn his hand. I looked at the list here and I thought, French polisher, storeman, shipyard labourer, barman in the Clydebank Social Club. You've done it all.
Listen, you've got to do things. You've got to try things to experience things. You know what I mean? I love working behind the bar because you used to get 3 pints. I love working in the shipyards when you see the boats going down. And I worked with my dad. My dad passed away a couple of months ago. He was my hero. Oh, the two of them, my mum and dad, were heroes. He passed away. He got me jobs in different shipyards during pre-season. And it was brilliant. He used to get me, I think it was about 11 quid an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, is that the best lesson you could pass on to some kids who clearly want it to be a full-time career, but sometimes it doesn't work out? You know, load the bases, think of other things.
You've got to do things during the summer. During the summer, kids that play football that are full-time, I think they should go into the shipyards and be a joiner, be a whatever, Ricky, and go and do that. Because listen, football doesn't last all your life. It lasts till you're 30, 40, whatever. If you're lucky enough, 40, with Peter Shelton and all that. But you've got to go and look for a career for after it. Because you've got kids growing up. And I had to do it.
When you look back, any regrets?
Regrets, aye. No kicking Paul Gascoigne when he nutmegged me.
Is he the best player you've played against?
No, yes. Him and probably David Ginola. David Ginola, when I was playing for Newtown in Wales. And I tell you this story, it's a cracker, honestly. Tommy Cowan said to me when he was at Dundee, he says, listen, playing the World Cup. I'm like, what? World Cup? Right, okay, Tommy Cowan, my hero. He is probably one of my heroes. He said, playing Italy for Ireland. And I says, right, fair enough. He says, so I went into the Italy dressing room and said to Baggio, can I have your top after the game? So he says, no problem, Tommy. I don't think he said Tommy. I think he just went, I'll give you. But after the game, he came over and gave Tommy Cowan his top. So I was in Tommy's house years ago, and at Tam's house. Tam came to pick me up when I was working. I was playing for Clydebank at the time. Tam was a manager. Tam came to pick me up. I was doing a job for somebody. I don't know what I was doing, a joiner or something. I was kidding on I was a joiner. And Tam took us back to his house and he showed me this top, Baggio. I was like, oh, hell, that's absolutely beautiful. So he's got it in a big case and all that. So I went playing for Newtown. We're playing Aston Villa. And John Gregory, he was the manager at the time at Aston Villa. So he's fell out with Ginola. So Ginola's playing for the reserves against Newtown, and I'm up front. Saw these wee boys at the park and all that, going, I'm getting Ginola's top and all that. So I walked to her. As soon as he came in, I went there like, oh, David. I says, can I have your top after the game? And he went, and he was looking at me as if I was a After the game, he came into the dressing room and went, Stevie, give me his top. So I've got that
brilliant.
up the stairs. There's no name on it. It's number 14. Because he was number 14. I was like, and he said, can I have yours? I'm like, no, they've only got one strip, you idiot.
Brilliant. What about the best player that you've played with, Stevie?
There's a few. Best player I've played with probably is Tommy Cowan. Tommy Cowan. There's a lot of people that will be watching this, a lot of players will be watching this thinking, he's a whatever. Tommy Cowan was the best player up front. It taught me how to score. Not to score. It was after I'd been still in Albion, I went to Dundee, and he came to Dundee. And he was my best mate at the time. And outstanding. He could score for anywhere.
Yeah.
So it'll be Tommy Cowan.
Yeah, it's a good call, actually. I don't think too many people in the game would dispute how good a player Tommy was. That's for certain. Listen, what you do now, I mean, do you follow football? I mean, you're down in England. What do you do nowadays, and what team do you like to watch down there?
Well, I was at Market Drayton there for a while as a manager. And there was too many... I can't handle all the rubbish. So I'm working in a home with 12 boys that have been abused and things like that. So I'm enjoying that, and that's what I do. I'm enjoying my life down here.
Yeah, and if I could give you one option, Stevie, of one person that you would love to have played up front with in a 2, who would it be? Would it be Tommy Cowan? I'm giving you the ultimate. Anybody that you think I could play alongside him and even he'd make me look good.
That is bad. That is bad.
I'm giving you the option of any striker to play alongside you, for God's sake.
You. I wouldn't have to pass to anybody.
I would definitely make you look good, by the way. That is an absolute story.
See, that centre forwards, for you, I would never pick another centre forward to play up front of me. You'd be the best because you can't run.
You know my game so well. That's magnificent. Listen, I'll tell you one thing. I think a lot of people will look back at your career and obviously what you're doing now and think, well done to you. I know it's been a joy having a bit of banter with you. I am going to suggest to anyone, if they are friends of yours, to get on your Facebook, because some of your rantings and chats and songs in the morning make me smile. So don't stop doing them. They're a right good laugh. Listen, Stevie.
I've got to. My wife's going to kill me because I keep doing them.
Don't stop.
I want on that show. I want to be sitting there with a shirt and tie on with Tam.
Oh, listen, I'm going to get you next to McManus once we're all allowed out. You are going to be sitting next to him with Roughie, and I might even throw Barry Ferguson in just to man mark you.
Listen, he tried it and I made him.
Stevie, brilliant to chat to you. Thanks for joining us.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.